There's a sci-fi flick out there that most of you have probably never heard of before. It could fit right into the same universe as Alien or Blade Runner. It's a bleak, fascinating space western called Outland. It's from 1981 and stars Sean Connery in a part that's nothing like his James Bond roles. Instead of a suit, he's wearing a sheriff's office outfit on one of Jupiter's moons, and he's sporting a beard. It's one of the early bearded Sean Connery movies. I really like how this movie takes the basic Western setup from High Noon, a single lawman facing bad guys while everyone else in town ignores the threat because they're too tired or scared, and it moves it into space. The movie goes at a slow pace, at least initially, that might make some modern viewers impatient, and sometimes it feels a little dry and empty, but as slow building movies go, this one's pretty good if you pay attention. This movie's sets have an industrial and dirty look, which reminds me of worn out futures shown in other science fiction, like I said, Alien and Blade Runner, where big companies control absolutely everything. And Sean Connery carrying a shotgun in space, it's so casually cool that you might laugh at how badass it is. A Scottish guy shooting enemies in low gravity is so awesome that it's worth watching for that alone. Stick around as I tell you a little bit about one of my favorite hidden gem science fiction movies out there, Outland. The movie Outland starts off in a future that's not too far distant, where people are mining resources out in the solar system. Federal Marshal William O'Neill, played by Sean Connery, with his expert toughness after his James Bond roles. He's 51 years old in this movie. He takes a one-year job at Con-Am 27, a titanium mining facility on the moon of Io. The place is rough. Workers doing hard, non-stop labor for good pay, but they get burned out. The movie shows this setting really well. The cinematography is actually pretty excellent. It's an environmental movie, an ambient movie. You just kind of absorb the setting in this movie, and it feels like a real dingy future. It's not polished. It looks like a real lived-in place. O'Neill has barely gotten there, and he starts to have family trouble, giving his character a little bit more emotional weight. His wife Carol and their young son can't handle how unwelcoming this location is, so they leave and head back to Earth, leaving a touching video message for Sean Connery, and it adds to the feelings of tension, showing themes of being alone, but he has his duty to perform, and he's going to do that. So now that he's by himself with his family gone and only space surrounding him, he's ready to shoot people with his shotgun, and it's awesome. The plot of the movie. Weird deaths start happening, and those deaths are kind of brutal and awesome, by the way. It builds the sense of a puzzle that needs to be solved. Workers suddenly go crazy. They rip open their spacesuits, dying from exposure, bodies swelling and bursting in pretty groovy, awesome, gross ways. The movie shows us all of this without holding back. It earns its R rating. Using real practical effects, fake bodies, fake blood, it looks good. There's no computer graphics because it's 1981. The character breakdowns look real and detailed. There's no computer stuff, which makes it feel raw and real. To figure things out, O'Neill gets the help from the station's doctor, Dr. Lazarus, played by an intelligent woman who nails the role, with smart comments that feel like something a doctor would actually say. She's one of Sean Connery's few allies in this movie, and she helps him figure out what's really going on. O'Neill and Lazarus find out what is causing people to go nuts. It's a man-made drug given out secretly to the miners to help them work harder and help them work more to earn more money. It increases the output, but destroys their minds. It causes hallucinations, like spiders crawling over their skin. It pushes them to kill themselves. You have to smile at how ironic it is. A company drug that's supposed to give endless energy, but ends up breaking people apart. It shows how stupid greed can actually be. This leads to a bigger story of corruption, pointing out that the movie is sort of a critique of capitalism, like a lot of science fiction movies of this era were. I'm a capitalist, I love making money, but giving people drugs so that they work harder and then go crazy, probably not the best idea. Right in the middle of the corruption is the station boss, Mark Shepard, and he's a character that you kind of love to hate. He's a perfect example of companies being evil. He's cold, he's uncaring, he's running his business to boost profits and ignoring the deaths like they're really not that big of a deal. O'Neill's assistant in the sheriff's office or marshal's office or whatever it is, Sergeant Montone, is stuck in this situation unwillingly. He adds a sad layer to his part, showing how normal people can get pulled into doing wrong things. The fights look rough and real, and the action seems grounded despite its science fiction setting. O'Neill, angry from all he's learned and the loss of his sheriff, he goes after the drug smugglers, hitting the operation hard. This makes Shepard call in the hitman on the next shuttle with a countdown, so this becomes like a race to the clock. Like high noon, basically. The movie is High Noon in Space, and that's a good thing. I don't mind that. O'Neill gets ready for the fight, like the movie High Noon in Space, but with O'Neill alone, highlighting the ideas of simple heroism and a 12-gauge shotgun. It's fun action. Now, some of the effects aren't necessarily the greatest. It is the early 80s, but it overall looks really good. And it's just pure fun. Once it gets going, it's a little slow. It takes a little bit of time to get. It's a little slow. It takes a little time to get there. It's a pressure cooker. It builds and builds and builds and then explodes. It's great. What makes this movie work so well, despite some of its pacing issues, is that the movie is carefully put together with early parts that might feel like they drag a bit, but they all pay off. Visually speaking, the movie is great to watch. It has a rough, strong feel. The death scenes are the stuff of nightmares. The music has a dark tone. It works. It was shot at Pinewood Studios in England. It's gorgeously done. It's gritty. Like I said, this movie might actually be in the Blade Runner universe. It just has that tone. It just feels like this is Alien before we got off into deep space. Sean Connery gives a fantastic performance because of course he does. He's Sean Connery. The flaws are in this movie. The science doesn't quite make sense here and there. I'm not a scientist, but there are some scientific mistakes that are pretty obvious to spot. Gravity isn't always right, but when the movie works, it really works. The movie got okay reviews, and it kind of fell away. It's not really people's go-to science fiction movie. It's sort of forgotten about. It's spoken of as sort of a cult classic, but it's a mostly forgotten movie. But I really like the movie. I always have. And I hope you will give it a fair watch. If you haven't seen it already, I would recommend the movie. If you know going in that it's a bit slow, but really interesting, I think you just might like it. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to check out my novels, they are at Amazon.com, and you can read a free sample at EricWilfredWatson.com. And you can find me on X, Eric_W_Watson. Talk to you next time, folks. Eric Wilfred Watson signing out.